So in today video, we are going to design a piston head in the SolidWorks. First of all, we are going to talk about the drawing of the design. So we must understand the drawing. The drawing is very interesting for this piston head uh, uh, design. So this is our isometric view, and this, if you see from this side, this is our front view. Here we have the top view, and here we have the bottom side view. This drawing has a lot of detail. First we took a section view here, and it is showing at this point. So from this design we can do it differently. By designing our base feature, we can either use this sketch and this detail to draw a uh, half sketch and then revolve it. And the other method is that we just draw a circle and then extrude it and cut these uh, things from the solid body. So it's according to your approach how you are going to use it. So I am going to design a revolve sketch, half sketch, then we are going to revolve it and move to the next step. So from here we have to look all the dimension of these cards and like that, and we are going to make this sketch and extrude it. So go to the SolidWorks. The units are in inches. So I'm going to select the sketch, and for this sketch we are going to use the front plane. Use the front plane and draw a center line for the reference. The whole sketch will be going to extrude revolving around this reference line. Select the line tool and just draw a random sketch according to the drawing. So like that. This is our rough sketch, and now we can add the dimension. So first dimension I am going to put is the overall diameter of this cylinder, and the second dimension we are going to put about the overall length of this cylinder. So just look in the drawing and try to find the overall diameter. So for the drawing, this dimension is the diameter dimension of the whole body, and this is the total length. So from this point, I'm select this line and select the reference line, so you can add a diameter dimension. Don't worry about the tolerances, we will add it at the end. And the total length from this point to this point, this dimension is given as 2.350. Okay, now we add the dimension for these cuts. Here we have all the detail about these cuts, the thickness, total length. We are going to add it. So for the first one, this we have the dimension of 0.155. Okay, and the dimension between this one and this one is given as 0.120, and also the dimension of this one is also 0.120. The dimension of this one is given as 0.08. Okay, So we know this dimension and then the dimension of this one and the dimension of this one. Okay. What about the length of these cuts? Try to find this dimension of this these cuts. For this cut from this point to this point, this dimension is given as no, not this one. This point 125. Here we can see about this dimension. The total thickness from the wall is 0.125. So this will be also 0.125. We can observe it also from this view. Now add some relation. So from this point to this point, it's vertical. And next, another relation between this point, and we add a vertical relation. And from this point to this point, these 2 points must be on the vertical line. We can also add the other relation like equal, but it's okay to add the vertical relation because it's doing our work. Okay, so we have defined this dimension, we have defined this dimension, and this dimension. So this one, distance from this point, and distance from this point is not defined yet. So try to look in the drawing and find how much will be this dimensions. So this one is for this one, and for these cuts, this dimension is 0.08. Okay, and from this to this point, this dimension is 0.08. Okay, so if you see in the drawing, the distance between these two tabs is given as 0.12 for all the tabs, and distance between the cut is given as 0.08, and for the first tab it's given as 0.155. So that's way you have to try to understand this one. He does not give the dimension for all of these tabs. He just give the dimension for one tab and one cut. Hope so you understand it. So all of this information is taken from here. So now our sketch is fully defined as we can see it. Now we can use the revolve command. Make sure you selected this sketch and use the revolve command. Rest in this command will do the work. Okay, so this is our initial sketch, the base sketch and base feature. All of the other feature we are going to add on this feature. So the first feature we also called it a base feature, and when you're using a drawing, you have to select a base feature so you can work on that feature and make the full design. Okay, so this one is defined. Next, we can make these cuts. So we have a cut here and we have a cut here. So at which point we have to make this cut, we are going to select the front plane. So front plane on the sketch. So simple draw sketch like that, which is passing through. So this is our sketch like that, and we are going to close it here. Just make it throughout this body. So we must cut the hole. Either if we don't pass at this point, it's okay. But for the good practice, I am going to just define this extra sketch. So we make sure we cut all the area. The overall dimension from this point to this point, it's given as 1.515, and from this point to this origin, this dimension is given as 2, but we are adding from the origin, we have to use the half that dimension. Next, use the fillet and add a fillet. The diameter of the radius of this fillet is given as 0.125. Add the fillet. Now just use a center line so we can mirror this sketch. And for these extra lines, we just have to add some dimension to fully define it. If we use that way, if we draw a line from this point to this point, it's also okay. It will make the whole cut. But I just added it. Just add a reference dimension point to. This is just a reference dimension. And it's not given in the drawing. So mirror it, select all of this sketch and mirror about this reference line. So we have this sketch. Its sketch is fully defined. We are good to go. Extrude and select the through all both sided. It will make the cut through all on the both sided from this plane of the sketch. Okay, so this is done. Next, you can select the other feature which you want to make. It's up to you. But for me, I am going to draw from this bottom view. I am going to make this bottom cut. It has a bottom cut here, and it also have a bottom cut here like that. And for the dimension of this cut we have to make it 1.15. So selected the bottom, and now we have to draw the sketch. So first of all, I'm going to make a center line from like that. This line will be for the reference, and then I'm going to draw a circle like that. And to make this cut, we know that from the outer to this side, it has a thickness of 0.125. So I'm going to select the circle dimensions and add this dimension 0.125. So at this point, we make the sketch fully defined. Next, you can see You can see from here for this dimension point 1 to 5, you can see it from here. It is showing that from this cut here, from this cut at this side, this dimension is point 1 to 5. So we add lines like that, and we use the mirror. Try to use the mirrors for this one, and we will see if it will work for it or not. From this point to this point, this thickness is point 1 to 5, and from this point to this thickness is point 1 to 5. Okay, and the distance or dimension between these two, we have to see it in the drawing. So for this dimension, we know that it is 1. So add 0.5. If we adding this dimension from one side, we can also add a dimension 1. If we select this line and this line, it has a dimension of 1. You can see it here. Okay, now we have to trim these areas which we don't needed it at this point. So we remove these areas, and then these cuts. So now this sketch is underdefined. That means we have to add some dimension. So this line is showing in blue. That means these dimensions are not defined. Okay, we can move in that direction. This must be a vertical, and this also must be a vertical line. So we can see it's fully defined. Now you just have to move the dimension which is blue, so it will tell which dimension is not defined. Just for uh, an observation, it can give you idea the which dimension is missing or which relation is missing. For my sketch, I just remove it, and I found that the the relation of horizontal or vertical is not defined. So I wanted a vertical relation here, so I added it. So at this point, our sketch is fully defined. Exit the sketch and then extrude cut. And how much we have to cut? We have to cut 1.5. So this is for the outer. Now for the inner, we have to make another cut. And we can see that at this point, we also have another circle passing like that. So we have to make cut for it. So we have a solid circular arc body. So use the sketching tool, select this surface, and we just okay. So we can add a offset of this edge point 1 to 5 on, on the other direction. Okay, and also for the other side, make it reverse like that. So at this point, we draw a line like that, and we want it from this to this edge. It must be 0.15, and just extend this line like that, and use this feature. No, this is a mistake. Okay, use the convert entities, convert these edges. We converted it, then use the extended entities to extend this one. We want it to extend in that direction and we also want it to extend in that direction. Same for this one. Okay. Now just trim. Now use the trim and remove these extra lines. Okay. So for this we use the extruded cut and in that direction we want to make a cut of 0.5. So we will have a solid body here like that. Okay. Next use the sketch. Select this one and we just have to make a cut here. So draw a line like that. The dimension of this is given. This is 1. We already define it. So we are not able to over define it. This dimension is given as 0.525. Okay, and it must be in the middle from the origin and we have to divide 0.525 by 2 and use the extruded cut and we want to make this cut up to this surface like that. Okay, at this point we completed most of the features for this design. Next we see what thing is left. So we have to make this cut and we have to make this hole. So for this cut I am going to select the right plane. I have to draw this sketch. I'm going to draw a line like that and I'm going to draw a sketch like that, just a half sketch, and we will mirror the sketch on the other side. So just define the dimension for this half sketch. So from this point to this line we have the dimension of 0.6 and the angle between this line and this line is given as 60. Okay. This line must coincident with this point. So select these 2 points and make a coincident relation between them. And mirror this sketch above this reference line. Okay. We can also add this hole on this surface. And for these holes, we know the dimension and we know the position dimension. So draw a circle at this point. From this region of the circle to the top edge, we have the dimension of positional dimension of 1.350 and the diameter of this circle is given as 0.562. Exit the sketch. Now just let's see. This line we have to make it a construction line. This line is for the reference, so sketch is fully defined. So now we have the two areas of the sketch. Just select the sketch and select the extruded cut. And SolidWorks will ask you which contours you want to select. So you can also select the contour, but it selected the both contours as a one sketch and use the through wall on both sides. So it will make a cut like that. Okay, good. So now see what we have to do to complete this design. So three things are left. So for now, first we have to make this cut on this circular position. It give the detail D. It has taken the detail from this view and we can see it there is a cut here. So we have to draw this cut and other thing is that we have to make this cut at this point for this surface. You can see it from here. And the next thing is that we have to draw the fillets. So for this, from this cut on this hole, we have to make a sketch on the front plane. And we have to draw a center line like that, and also another center line, just a random center line like that. So this center line will be the center of the center for the cut. So we must have the center for this circular surface. So we have to define the position dimension of this circle. So this dimension is given as 1.350. So it will be coincident with this center of this, you can say the circle, or if you consider it as a, like for example a cylinder. So this must be coincident with the center of this. Okay. So that's why we added this dimension. Next we have to make this cut, and for this cut simply draw a rectangle like that. We are going to use the revolve cut. So for this circular cut we just draw a rectangle. Okay, so find the dimension for this one. The diameter of this cut is 0.5 96, and the total thickness is this one. It also have a fillet, and it also have the dimension from the other side. So first we are going to add the total thickness of this cut. So it's given as 0.039. For the total length of this, we select this one and this edge and add a overall diameter dimension 0.596. Okay, we are good to go. And the next thing is that we have to define a position. So from one point to the other point, it has the dimension of 0.051. So from this side to this side, this dimension is given as 0.051. Okay, now we add the fillet. First, we are going to define the radius of fillet. It's 0.005. We select this edge and click OK. So now our sketch is complete. Exit the sketch and use the revolve command. So for the revolve command, we just draw these two center lines for the reference, but we don't need it this center line. We just needed this center line. So it will make a cut. I draw this center line because I want to make this cut, this sketch on this side, but I did not use that method. We are just simply going to mirror it. So feature to mirror cut revolve, and about which plane we are going to mirror it. We are going to mirror it about the right plane. Okay. Now for the top cut, I'm going to use the sketch and front plane. Define a center line like that. I'm going to for this cut we have dimensions here. So from this point to this point is total dimension is given as 2.450, and here we can see that for this dimension at this point we can see that it has a dimension of 2. So for example, starting from this point I draw a line like that, and from this point select the line tool. From this point to this point I am going to draw a line like that. Next, for this line I am going to define the half dimension. because we selected the radial dimension 2.45 divided by 2, and for the dimension total is 2, but we are going to define it 1 for the half of the sketch, and this the thickness between them is 0.50. Okay, and just join these lines like that. So sketch is fully defined. Go to the extrude revolve cut, and it will make a cut like that. So the design is complete at this point. Just try to find the um, fillet information for it. So what are the values of the fillets? We can use we can use any dimension we want. I think the dimension of the fillet is not defined. Where are the values of fillets? These portion are filleted. We can observe it from here. Yeah, this is the value of the fillet. So fillet 0.050. We have to select these edges, this whole surface. This edge, select this edge. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now the design is complete. Thank you so much for watching it. And if you keep practicing the SolidWorks is all about the practice. If you keep practicing, you will totally understand it. Thank you so much for watching my video. Try to subscribe my channel.